Welcome to a very special episode of What I Wore on TNT Sports. My name is Kenny All-Star, and you already know the iconic show where we go through some iconic jerseys, tell some iconic stories with an even more iconic player. And this week we are joined by Liverpool legend,
Barnes, oh yes!
style icon, and a man who's no stranger to the microphone, but we'll talk about that a little later. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only John Barnes! In the place to be.
This is the first time we've met, Kenny.
It is.
But I saw you about 20 minutes ago.
What 20 minutes ago?
I was walking past the tube station after getting the underground, and you drove by like in a limousine, and you didn't even stop and give me a lift.
Are you sure that wasn't me?
It was you. It was you 100%.
I'm sure I got it.
Because you've changed, mate, I'm telling you.
I've changed.
Kenny's changed.
John Barnes says I've changed.
But you know what they should have shown?
What should they have
Never mind these jerseys, they should have shown the shorts.
Oh.
You remember the tight shorts?
Wait,
you remember those? That's what they want to show.
What do you think this screen's for?
It would have been a bit obscene, wouldn't it, to have them on here?
We're going to talk about that soon. John Barnes, thank you for joining me on What I Wore. I want to start all the way back to the beginning, right? Now, firstly, let's go over to Jamaica, a country that I love so much.
I grew up playing football. Football was my life, you know. We did a lot of sport. My sister swam for Jamaica. My other sister played tennis for Jamaica. So it was a sporting family. I used to swim in Miami in international tournaments when I was 10 and 11. So my dad really concentrated a lot on sports and education, which my sisters did. I was just into the football. So when I came to England at 13 years old, I'm coming to the home of football, aren't I? So I was so excited. As much as we were only coming for 4 years, diplomatic post. 4 years, I'm going to go back to Jamaica. I'm going to go to America to university. Just before that happened, Watford saw me and said, stay and play. But it was all football growing up. Like everyone else in Nigeria, anywhere.
Of course,
even
yeah.
Kinsale, we all grew up playing football.
Can you tell me about your father's relationship to bobsleds in Jamaica?
My dad was head of all the sports in the army, and he said to my dad, he wants my dad to give him 4 of the good athletes who are army officers. So therefore, my dad said, you can't do that. You have to have trials. So what he did, my dad said to him, right, I'm going to let you train 3 good army officers. I knew one of them, Tal Stokes. He was a captain at the time. I'm going to let you train them. So then, after training them, when you then have the trials, they're going to win, because they're good athletes as well. So that's what he did. Trained them for 2-3 months, had the open trials. 3 of them got in. The 4th one didn't make it. It was just a normal boy from the street.
Wow.
First trip they went to Toronto, or wherever they went, Canada, winter training. Woke up the next day, never saw that boy again. so it's a nice story. So he kind of had something to do with the true story about it, not the film.
I want to talk about the impact of 2 players, yeah? Now, when I show you this, number 10, Diego Maradona, how impactful was Diego in terms of you coming up as a footballer? Was he one of your favourite players?
For me, he was the greatest player ever.
Wow.
Because we're playing at a time where people are trying to break your leg, people are trying to push you and stuff like that, of course. Everybody would adapt. So Messi and Ronaldo would adapt back then to people being physical. Diego would adapt to now. But I just cannot imagine. You know, when you think about the second best player in the world and think about a player who's so much better than everybody else? 1986, when I was just on the bench before I came on watching him, everything he did was just mesmerizing. He was an incredible footballer.
What about Graham Souness?
Different kind of player. Graham was tough. In fact, Graham would have been the one trying to break Maradona's leg. But Graham, not only was he tough physically, he was also very intelligent as a footballer. Yeah. You know, he was a fantastic player on the ball, off the ball, and he's a leader. Okay. You know, if you talk about following somebody into battle, Graham Souness is that man. So as much as even when, you know, Phil Thompson was the captain and Graham took the captain off him, if you want a real leader to take you into battle, if you like, well, that's when it was. Graham Souness was the one, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your playing career. Now, we were talking about shorts earlier. Get a load of that.
Look at that. In fact, they were bigger than normal. That's just the way, I'm telling you, that's just the way it was, I'm telling you.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
Okay, so let me might as well start holding some jerseys. Watford.
Yeah. Well, of course, this is where it started.
Yeah.
You know, as a 17-year-old boy, I was playing for Sudbury Court at Wembley, and of course, how I became a footballer was a taxi driver was going by, stopped to watch the game. I didn't know he was there. He obviously thought I was a good player. He knew a scout. He told the scout. The scout then, I didn't know the scout came to watch me play. I just remember getting a phone call from Watford, my dad did, and said, we'd like to come and train. So if that taxi driver didn't stop, I would never have been spotted. So when that taxi driver spotted me, I was all set to go to Howard University. Got offered my dad got recalled back to Jamaica. He was a diplomat. And I got offered a football scholarship to Howard. I'm going to go to Howard University and become an annoying American, which I wouldn't be there now. And They said, come and train at Watford. This is 4 months before I'm going to go back to Jamaica and go to America. And then I started to train. Then they offered me a contract. And that's why I stayed. My mum, my dad, my sisters, everybody went back. I'm 17 and I stayed. So, the rest is history. But Graham Taylor was incredible. Watford came from the 4th division to the top division 5 years. I only played 1 year in the second and in the top division. But they came from the 4th to the top division in 5 years. Finished second to Liverpool in the first year in the top division, when Man United finished in 3rd, and 80% of those players, 70% of those players would have played in the 4th division. That shows what a great manager Graham Taylor was, to talk about the togetherness and the spirit and the belief and the humility. It's not just about having good players. So Watford was a good grounding for me for 6 years.
Elton John. What was Elton John's relationship to the team back then?
He was a real fan. Used to come to all the games, come in and wish us luck. We had a garden party at his house every, and he used to play five-a-side with us. He couldn't
really?
Play. Yeah, but every garden party he'd come and get it.
Was he good?
No, come on. Elton was just good on the piano and singing.
Fair play. All right, let's be honest, John. This was maybe the big start that you had, but really the breakthrough started when you moved to Liverpool. Now.
Well, interestingly, let me just stop you there.
Okay.
So, goal against Brazil. Who was I playing for? Watford. Half of my England caps was Watford. Of course, the prestige of Liverpool means that, yes, your profile's going to be risen.
Yeah.
But I played as many games for England when I was already at Watford. And Watford were finishing second, the goal against Brazil. So, I know you mentioned the white suits.
The white suits.
They were cream. They were cream.
Very iconic, this image. Now, firstly, let me ask you, who makes the decision when it comes to, obviously, finals, you got to look dapper. But nowadays, we don't see this.
We should never have seen that. The staff got blue Armani suits, and I said I want to be with the staff. But of course, the young Spice Boys, Redknapp and McAteer and all of those, Robbie Fowler, they went, no, let's get, Ray-Ban's going to sponsor us, we're going to have these cream suits, and we're going to look fly. However, this is how football is. Now, if we had won that cup final, we would have looked cool, wouldn't we? But because we lost, we look like a bunch of idiots.
No, I think you're being too harsh, John. I mean, this is...
No.
This is a drop.
No, if we had won, but don't forget we're in 2024 now.
Yeah.
So of course that's not bad for 2024, but this is 1996. You shouldn't be dressing like that as footballers.
Well, you know what? I like this.
I know you like that.
I think
You're young.
I
don't know you're from Lagos. You're like, don't go down winning Lagos in VI.
Yeah,
I know.
you already know. We're fly guys.
But if you lose, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
If you win, it's okay.
Can you tell me about the moment you signed for Liverpool? Firstly, can I understand what the process is like signing for such a major club?
The whole speculation from the January till the end of the season was, John Barnes is coming to Liverpool, or is he not coming? Once I didn't come, that was it. Then all of a sudden, I'd signed. I met Kenny Dalglish in the Sandbat services, got in his car, drove up to Southport, where he lived, went to the thing. So there wasn't a press conference, anything like that.
I just like the idea of the manager taking you to the ground himself and just getting you to sign.
Well, when I signed,
never hear a story
never mind
like
sign.
that.
I went and stayed in a hotel in Southport, and I went out with a couple of the players who had just met Liverpool players, and I think we just went out in the old days when we were allowed to go out and get drunk and coming about 3 o'clock in the morning.
And not end up in the tabloids.
I know, and then you didn't end up in the tabloids back then, and then we just went blary-eyed to sign the contract.
All right, so you know me, John, I love rap music, and I earn the whole living off supporting talent in rap music, and I'm a hip-hop guy through and through.
Okay.
Now, an FA Cup final tradition is always the song, right?
Yeah.
The Anfield rap. Talk to me more about this.
Well, Derek B, unfortunately, he's passed away, but he was a famous rapper, and he came up with this. Him and Craig Johnson came up with the idea, why don't we just have a laugh? Because, of course, Cup final songs historically have always been, Chaz and Dave, and here we go, and it's like, let's do something different because, we're not real singers, so let's not pretend. So we just dressed up as rappers, got very drunk, I have to admit, went to a club in Liverpool and just made this video and did this kind of, Liverpool FC is hard as hell. So Derek B wrote it and all that. So, of course, that was a bit of a laugh. But then, of course, when we got to the World Cup in 1990, Bobby Robson said we're going to do a song.
World Emotion.
So, of course, we all had to go at the rap. I did the rap. Now, I couldn't say I'm going to do the rap. We all have to have a go at the rap, didn't we?
Yeah.
To then see who the best is, right? So everybody had to go at the rap. So I tell this story all the time. No one believes me. I was working in Leicester about 3 years ago, and the sound guy, engineer, said his dad was there live in 1990 when everybody had to go at the rap.
What?
And he sent me a little clip of it. So on my phone here, I'm going to give you an exclusive.
Wow.
Where I'm going to play you Paul Gascoigne's attempt at the rap, live in 1990.
Gazza!
And Gaz wasn't bad. Fog on the Tyne and all that, Gaz wasn't bad. But then after that, I'm going to play you, and Peter doesn't mind me doing it, Peter Beardsley's attempt at the rap.
Oh, my days.
Now, that's the one you want to hear.
Oh,
so,
my days.
this is Gazza's attempt at the rap.
You got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt
This is
you.
Gaza.
Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the back.
Here comes Peter Beardsley. This is Peter Beardsley. And we love you, Pete.
To hold and give, but you at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get around the back. Catch me if you can, cause I'm the England man.
Firstly,
You're not giving no props now that I did it, are you? That's what I was up against.
no, firstly, Gaza's flow.
Gaza wasn't bad. You don't get it for got the time.
Yeah.
You want to hear it? You want to hear how it should be done?
Go on.
You got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. We can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the back. So catch me if you can, cause I'm the England man. And what you're looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans. This ain't a football song. 3 lions on my chest. I know we're playing for England. Robbie, I think, is naturally the most talented goal scorer.
But Alan was a finisher. The Man United Liverpool rivalry, my goodness.
From the fan perspective, it's still intense.
Still there.
The judges were going, yeah, I can see the moves, you got the moves, but I don't see any chemistry. I was like, yes. So my wife just going, I don't want to see any chemistry.
Like, I'm going to be right when I get home. Back to football, okay, what I wore. Your assist, yeah, in the 89 FA Cup final, right?
Okay.
That won the FA Cup. Now, it was against, I'm not going to make you touch this, by the way.
My brother knows an Evertonian. I don't know, man.
Yeah, right, cool. So, against Everton.
It was appropriate.
Yeah.
It was appropriate, and I'll tell you why, because, of course, that was Hillsborough. Now, of course, as much as Hillsborough was a Liverpool Football Club disaster, it was a City of Liverpool disaster. Evertonians would have lost their loved ones in it as well. So I think it was appropriate that it was Liverpool versus Everton in the cup final.
Yeah.
And I have to say, that's the only time I felt sorry for Everton, because normally, under normal circumstances, people would want underdog to win. You know what it's like in England. But because of Hillsborough, I think that everybody really wanted Liverpool to win. So I felt sorry for them that day. But it was an incredible cup final. Winning 2-0, easy, come back to 2-2. What are you going to do?
Would you say that the Merseyside derby is the most iconic English derby?
Not if you're in Manchester.
No, yeah, no.
And not if you're in London.
Yeah, depending on who you
know what
are.
I mean? But I think in the 80s it was, because don't forget, Everton had won the league, 85. We won it in 86. Everton won in 87. We won it in 88. So throughout the mid to the late 80s, they were the 2 best teams in the country.
Yeah.
I suppose, Man United and Man City went through something similar a bit later on. But
Yeah,
in the
but it's
80s when I
nothing
played,
compared to Everton and
no,
Liverpool.
because of course,
Yeah.
Everton like to think they're as big as Liverpool. Man City know they're not as big as Man United, but you can't tell an Evertonian that Liverpool's a bigger club.
Yeah.
So therefore, the rivalry within the city, there's many Everton fans and Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
In Manchester, Man United have a bigger fan base, but in Liverpool don't have a bigger fan base than Everton. Worldwide, so they have more fans than outside of the city, but in the city, that is a real rivalry. So yeah, and in the 80s particularly, when they had, Andy Graham, Graham Sharp, and Kevin Ratcliffe, they were a good team.
But I just want to kind of understand from your perspective, when you see moments like this, like mules in the city, I always wonder, how does it feel as a player to have this kind of legacy in the city?
Well, this was only last year. I mean, I left Liverpool from 1997.
Yeah.
So of course now when he started doing murals, so there's Kenny, Robbie, Ian Rush, myself, there's 3 or 4, and of course because Liverpool is a city for the people.
It is.
You know what I mean? And the players belong to the players belong to the people, belong to the city.
Yeah.
So therefore there's no hierarchy. At Liverpool as a Liverpool player, I'm just like one of the fans. You know what I mean? When I walk around town, as you know, because you pass me on the tube, that's how we do it. In Liverpool, that is how you have to act. You can't walk around like you're a superstar. So therefore, yes, the mural's nice, but you then have to be part of the city, part of the people.
Yeah.
So this is just on the side of somebody's house. So they went to somebody and said, listen, I mean, I don't know whether you would do that. Someone wants to come and paint the side of your house. But in Liverpool, that's the way Scousers are. And Anfield is just there. I don't know if you can see the thing there. Yeah. That's Anfield right behind there. So, of course, it's a great honor because it's there, forever now. So I'll take pictures outside there with my kids. But it's it's a nice tribute.
When you was around Liverpool, what was the iconic places that you always remember going? Maybe it was like a cafe or a particular place that meant a lot to you in that city. not just obviously being in the Kop is iconic, but you know it's just
There's
the
Kirkland's,
city
there's
itself.
Continental, there's all
Yeah.
nightclubs and bars. Come on, back in the 80s,
I didn't want to go to the nightclubs. That's so
Cafe?
typical of
Come
me.
on, come on. It's more about the relationship you have with the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of course in London you've got nice restaurants and blah blah blah. Whereas there, it's just about being the people. So it doesn't matter whether it's a nice bar, club, cafe, whatever. You are part of the people. Yeah. So therefore, we had to walk around and mix with the public. Yeah. You know what I mean? We could walk around, and when people come up to you, pictures or autographs and stuff, you didn't have security. You couldn't like turn anyone down and that's what Liverpool always was about, the character of the players. Yeah. And which is what obviously from Jurgen Klopp's point of view and Arne Slott's point of view, they look at the character first. Forget about your ability. And you had players who were fantastic footballers, but they could never fit into Liverpool because it's about the character of the players, which is not better or worse, is a character whereby you have to be one of the people. You know, Bill Shankly was a socialist. He talks about, you know, the harmony within the whole city itself. And Everton are a similar club. You know, Manchester City, Manchester United is a bit of a club whereby, you know, there may be superstars and drive around in big cars and don't sign autographs and meet people. But at Liverpool, you can, I don't know if you know any Scousers, but you can't act like that up there. I know you're from South London, you know what it's like there.
I know
people in South London, you can't do that either.
There you go. And Scousers are not too different.
No, they're not.
Yeah, very humble, I'm not going to lie. Can we talk about, you know what, yeah, this is a good one. This is a
Newcastle.
good one. All right, so winner stays on.
Come on. I mean, winner stays on.
I know.
Rushy scored 300
Of
goals.
course.
Tino was a great player, was a great entertainer. And they're different because Tino is not a centre forward. Tino may play up front and he scored goals, he creates, he comes short, he skillfully beats players. Somebody who just want to put the ball in the back of the net. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for Rushy, I mean, Robbie Fowler was a great finisher, but Rushy not only put the ball in the back of the net, but he also works hard for the team. But our judge players is saying, as well as scoring 30 goals a season, what else do you do for the team? Yeah. And the work rate he puts in defensively puts him ahead of everyone.
Another winner stays on.
Well, that is a hard one. That's a hard one. That's a hard one because Robbie, I think, is naturally the most talented goal scorer out of all of them. When you're talking about scoring with your left foot, your right foot, headers, tap-ins, dribbling, he scores all different types of goals.
But Alan was a finisher.
Alan would score.
He would finish the dinner.
Alan would score and he'd hold the ball up and he's strong. I'd have to give that a draw. Whoa. I'd have to give that a draw.
I don't know if I should
let you
get away with that.
No, well, I'd have to give it a draw.
All right.
I'd put Russia ahead of both of them, but I'd have to give that a draw.
Okay. First England top.
First England cap. Admiral.
Yeah. Remember that? I remember the Admiral jersey.
Yeah,
what did it feel like to get your first England cap? What is that feeling like?
Well, you know, I was always about trying to perform and not letting the occasion get the better of you. Because I always felt, what difference is there? I'll use the example of a penalty shootout. Yeah? What difference is there in taking a penalty in front of your teammates in training and in front of 100,000 in a World Cup final? It's about your technique. It's about handling the occasion, not letting the noise and the pressure get to you because you're playing it. So I never talk about playing the occasion, you play the game. So as much as it's my first England cap, it's a game of football. I don't know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, you see so many players who are good in training, but they can't handle the pressure. Now, what is that pressure? The pressure is you're going to go out there and play football. You've done it loads of times. So handling the pressure for me was never really an issue. So as much as I'm 19 years old and I'm now going to be playing for England and I'm coming on, playing with Peter Shilton and all these people, because as I said, growing up in the army as an army officer's son, my dad always spoke about your preparation. Forget about how good you are. Your preparation, you work hard, you try, you have belief in yourself. So those are the attributes necessary for anybody to be successful.
Okay, let's talk about rivalries. Now, this could be a little bit touchy, but I know you can handle this one. So I'm going to go over on this side, yeah? We're going to start with these two rivalries here. Germany 90, Wimbledon 88. Let's start with Germany.
Should I tell you the history?
Please.
So I live in Jamaica. 1972, my dad goes to watch. My dad was a sportsman as well as an army officer. For his birthday, we sent him to the Munich Olympics 1972. Comes back from Munich, 1972. I'm 9 years old with my first pair of football boots, Adidas Gerd Müller. You heard of Gerd Müller?
Of course.
Okay, that's my team. West Germany's my team. Bertie Vogt's right back. Love West Germany. Bayern Munich was my favorite team. Helmut Schön, greatest manager. So, this is my team, Germany.
Wow. Okay. Let's do these two. The 90s. Let's go over to the 90s. Manchester United and, of course, Everton. We've spoken about Everton.
Yeah.
But the Man United Liverpool rivalry is, my goodness.
From the fan perspective, it's still
It's
intense.
still there.
Oh, the Liverpool-Everton games and, of course, the Man United games are still there. So that's why I'm saying all of these rivalries now are really for the fans. Because even players, when the foreign players came, they'd say, I didn't know it was like this. What the hell's going on here? What's the matter with these people? But for the fans, it is intense.
That's where we get into my realm of things. When we talk about fashion and culture. So if you turn to the screen, you know I was going to talk about your Strictly.
I struggle with these dances because
Yeah,
that's us, isn't it?
Yeah,
Now, you got to bend, you got to hips, you got to lean forward. Whereas when you do that ballroom dancing, you've got to be like this, all stiff.
Posture straight.
Yeah, so therefore that's not for me.
Yeah.
So that's when all these dances. But when you had the Latin dances and stuff, that's when I came into my own. Cause we got a bit of rhythm.
How fun was it like doing this?
Listen, I was at a time now when I wanted to get fit, and I was training 4 hours a day, which was not enough. People are training 8 hours a day. I've come down from Liverpool to London. I can't be coming out and training 8 hours a day at my stage of life.
You're better than me at 4 hours a day.
Exactly. So therefore, and they were telling me I'm not training hard enough.
Really?
So for me to get fit, I lost weight, I got really fit.
Yeah.
But of course, my wife was coming down every single week to watch.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know about that.
Yeah,
So she's watching.
Yeah, of course.
She didn't want to see no chemistry.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So
There you
after
go.
what she was doing, and my wife's a scouser, so they don't play. So after, what happens after, when you finish dancing, you're supposed to stand by the judges, and you're supposed to be like this, aren't you? And you've got to be like, my wife said, oh no, none of that. You stand there just like this. So I'm standing like that, and the judges were going, yeah, I can see the moves, you got the moves, but I don't see any chemistry. And I was going, yes, no chemistry. Because my wife's just going, I don't want to see any chemistry.
Like,
So never mind all of that.
I'm going to be all right when I get home. I'm going to be all right.
But it was good fun. It was good fun.
All right, so if there's like an iconic jersey that means the most to you out of this lineup, can you pick one up and tell me why?
Candy.
Let's unpack this.
That was my first Liverpool top. Candy is a company that makes dishwashers, washing machines, and stuff like that.
Really?
All of a sudden, we get it sponsored by Candy, and we're going to get a free washing machine.
Really?
So I remember driving. All the players were so excited because we all drove to the Candy
Warehouse,
store,
yeah.
and got a free dishwasher and a washing machine.
What?
Imagine that.
Well, you learn something new every day. And from me to you, John, from TNT Sports and Kenny All-Star, we have made you a What I Wore. This is the first What I Wore jersey that we're gifting. And the teams you played, all your team colours in your name.
Beautiful.
Made it just for you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
John Barnes, thank you so much. Certified legend. I appreciate you. Until next time, What I Wore. Don't go nowhere.